Hey guys, Chained MTG here. I'm going to bring you a deck tech today for the Theros Season of Standard. It is Boros Burn. First, we'll start off with the land base. We have 10 mountains, 4 Sacred Foundry, 4 Temple of Silence, and 4 Temple of Triumph. That is the land base. We will move on to the creature base. We have Young Pyromancer. He's 1 colorless, 1 red, for a 2/1, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 red elemental token onto the battlefield. He's very good because we're only running 8 creatures in this deck, so basically you'll always be putting a token onto the battlefield unless your opponent kills him. So he's a 4/of. Next we have Chandra's Phoenix. It's 2 red and 1 colorless for a 2/2 flying haste, and whenever an opponent is dealt damage by a red instant or sorcery spell I control or red planeswalker I control, I return Chandra's Phoenix from my graveyard to my hand. So basically he's a reoccurring threat, doesn't go away, and you basically don't ever lose him if you draw him. So that'll be a 4/of, and that is all the creatures for this deck. Now we'll move on to the spells. We have Shock, which is 1 red, and Shock deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Just all around great card, kill a creature early, do a little bit of early damage at the end of their turn. So we are running a playset of them. And yes, these are Shocks. They're just very cool Shocks. Lightning Strike. It's 1 colorless, 1 red, and it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. It's as simple as that, and it's very good for a burn, so we're going to be running a playset of them. We have Lightning Helix for 4 mana. It's 2 colorless, 1 red, 1 white, and War Leader's Helix deals 4 damage to target creature or player, and then you gain 4. So it's very good if you are losing life and you need to get a little boost to kill them, or it's very good for end turn to combo off on, or if they're trying to make you lose life and gain life, it'll make you counter their burn or counter their just counter their life gain and your life loss. So it's basically just an all-around good card. We have Magma Jet for 1 colorless, 1 red, and it deals 2 damage to target creature or player, and then you scry 2, which is very important, so you want to do it at like the end of their turn to deal them 2, so you can scry 2 at the end of their turn, so you can basically set up your draw and see what you have next on the top of your library, so you don't draw into all lands or all burn spells. You want to make sure you kind of even out your land base and your spell base. This is basically a big key feature in this deck is scrying. You want to scry as much as possible, so in case you draw too much spells or too much land, you want to regulate it so you don't get screwed over. So that will be a playset of. We are running Skullcrack. It's 1 colorless, 1 red, and players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented, and it deals 3 damage to target player. This is very good for just general burn to them, and if they're trying to prevent the damage, they can't do it, which is very good against, like, control or something like that. And basically what this card is in here for is also burn and also to counter the mono black and Orzhov decks, which do have Whip, they do have Blood Baron, they do have Obsidat, and they do have tons of ways of getting life. So basically if they have the Whip of Erebos out, or Obsidat, or Blood Baron, or anything like that, or they play Grey Merchant of Asphodel, and they try to gain life, you basically play this card, and it does not let them do that. So it's a very good card for that. That's why it's in here, and it's also a burn spell. So we get 2 for 1 price. It's a playset of in this deck. Very good. We have Chained to the Rocks. Let me get an original one, because my shop was out of them, so I could not buy them. We have Chained to the Rocks. It's 1 white and enchant a mountain you control, and when Chained to the Rocks enters the battlefield, I exile target creature An opponent controls until Chain of the Rocks leaves the battlefield. So basically you can kill any one of their creatures until they destroy the enchantment. And it's pretty good for like Obsidat, it's pretty good for Blood Baron, it's really good for Desecration Demon. That's basically why it's in here, because Desecration Demon is a big threat that you want to get rid of. I've seen people use it against Nyx Fleece Ram, that new card in Journey to Nyx, the 0/5 guy who untaps and you gain 1 life. I've seen people use it against him because, I don't know, I guess he's just that good. I would too. But I save him for usually Obsidat or Blood Baron or basically Desecration Demon. I save him for Desecration Demon because I don't like him and I'd rather chain him. So that is a playset of. I do have 2 of them. 2 others are currently out because my shop didn't have them, so I'm running proxies for now until this Friday. And then we have Boros Charm, which is a 4 of. It's 1 red, 1 white, and you choose 1, and Boros Charm deals 4 damage to target player, or permanents you control are indestructible until end of turn, and creatures gain double strike. Target creature gains double strike until end of turn. It's very good for basically the two first abilities, where it's basically just a burn spell to finish them off, or just deal 4. And if you're attacking with like permanents that you don't want to be killed, you can basically just make them indestructible and waste their spells. Like if they play I'm trying to think of the name of it, a Wrath, you can just waste a Wrath on it, and they cannot do anything about it. So basically, when they play their Wrath and they try to get rid of your board, you can make them all indestructible, which they don't go away, which basically counteracts their Wrath. So we're running 4 of. I cannot find 3 Boros Charm because everybody at my shop wants them, and yeah, they're basically really hard to find at my shop, so I get them when I can. And then last but not least, we have 2 Searing Blood. Searing Blood is very good because it's not cycling out soon, and it's 2 red, and you can kill a creature early and do damage to them, so it's basically like a kill spell with a burn spell at once. But you gotta make sure you use this early and kill one of their early creatures, or if you know they have all like 1-drops with like 1/1s, like a red deck wins deck, then you can kind of save it, but you kind of want to generally do damage to a creature early and make sure you kill it and have them take that 3 damage like you want the spell to be used. So yeah, that's a 2 of in this deck, which is basically just a throw in. So that is the deck for Boros Burn, and we will move on to the sideboard. I am getting the sideboard here. I gotta make sure it's rearranged to where all the playsets are in the front. Okay, and this is the sideboard for the Boros Burn deck for the Theros season of Standard. We have Assemble the Legion, which is 3 colorless, 1 red, and 1 white, and at the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on Assemble the Legion, and then you put a 1/1 red and white soldier token onto the battlefield for each must counter on Assemble the Legion. So basically, every upkeep you put one on there, and every upkeep you put more and more and more soldiers onto the battlefield. It's very good in case you're versing aggro and stuff like that. You just want to overwhelm them. That's basically what it's in here for. And we're running a playset of them. We have the big bad Boros Reckoner. He is awesome. I love him. He is 3 Boros hybrid for a 3/3, and whenever Boros Reckoner is dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player. So basically, it's like a redirect. And then for a hybrid red or white, it's you can give him first strike until end of turn. So basically, if you block a 3/3 and they think he's gonna die, you can just give him first strike in the middle of the combat, which is like a combat trick. You can counteract their stuff, and he's very good for just aggro. So that's why I have him in here. So he is a playset of. And this is why we have the white-black Scryland in here for this bad boy, because not a lot of people know what he does, and I have a lot of people at my card shop who read this card and not know what it does. But it's very good for this deck, because it's basically a fuse card. It's Toil and Trouble. It's 2 colorless and 1 black for Toil, and it's 2 colorless and a red for Trouble. And basically, the Toil is a Sign in Blood with 1 extra color to it, or 1 extra mana to it, and you lose 2 life and draw 2 cards, and it can be used on him or you. And Trouble is, it deals damage to target creature, a target player, sorry, to the number of cards in their hand. So if you play this turn 3 and they have, like, they play an Esper control deck, and they're basically their goal is to have as many cards in hand as they want, like Simic also, you can basically deal them 7 or even 9 if you get the Toil on them too. So that's a big hit for turn 3, and yeah, it's basically really good in this deck, so we're going to run a playset of that. And for our last 2 spells, we are running Mizzium Mortars. Basically in here for the overload, in case you're running aggro and you need to board wipe them, you can basically overload it and get rid of all their creatures, deal 4 to them. And it's generally a good burn spell, so that's why it's in here also. And that's a 2 of. I also missed a card in here. That's 14, and our 15th card is the Fire Drinker Crusader. He is very good. He's a 1 colorless, 1 red, and he's a 1/1. And whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to an opponent, he deals that much damage to target creature. So basically, if you're versing aggro and you start burning them out, he is going to get rid of their whole board state. He is going to just deal damage to every creature he sees. He is very good. I have more of him, but he is only going to be able to fit